Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and on this podcast, I'm going to be sharing different ways and strategies that can help you reshape your mindset, live with intention, and live with the world through a grateful lens. So, first of all, I want to say thank you for taking time to listen to these episodes every week on Mindset Monday so that you can win the week by winning the day. And thank you for all of you that subscribe. If you haven't had a chance to yet, go ahead and subscribe to this podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or iTunes or any other platform that you choose to take in your podcasts. So I just want to say thank you for all of you, the people I'm most grateful for, inspire me every day. And the messages and responses I'm getting back from these episodes is inspiring as well. And knowing that you share these episodes with more people that every day in your life just shows your purpose and impact and your ability to learn and grow, but also your heart to help other people learn and grow. So this week, I want to talk about a follow-up episode to the previous quarter where we talked about kind of quarterly check-ins. Believe it or not, we're already at the halfway check-in point. And so, as we approach the halfway point of the year, it's natural to kind of reflect back on what have we been doing for the last 6 months. And I'll say this quote a couple different times, but I just hope it breathes some life into where you are and what you're doing. There's great fulfillment and meaning in recognizing where you've been, where you are, and where you want to be. There's joy and gratitude and love and perseverance and resilience in all of those three spaces. So give yourself some grace for maybe not making as much progress as you wanted to make, but also give yourself some recognition and honestly some celebration for how much progress you've maybe already had. Because if we don't recognize where we are now, we won't recognize when we're in a new place. And this process of becoming is so much more important than just being. So it's not just about the goal, it's about who we become along the way to accomplish the goal, and then also recognize that we have the ability to learn and grow no matter the goal. But I'll also kind of give you this nudge of, as you think back and maybe you haven't made any progress on any goal that you had planned, make choices now to make the rest of the year the best of the year. And don't beat yourself up. Instead, pick yourself up. Don't beat yourself up for what you haven't done. Pick yourself up to recognize that you're still capable. You just didn't have quite the thing you needed, whether it was purpose, meaning, time, habits, whatever it is, systems that didn't make the goals important enough. Or maybe you set goals that didn't really necessarily perfectly align with your day-to-day potential. If you set a goal to set aside 5 hours to do something every day, and that's just not realistic for you, maybe it's time to maybe not readjust the goal, but readjust the systems that you built to accomplish that goal. So, I encourage you to celebrate your victories, confront the challenges that you faced, hold yourself accountable by lifting yourself up, not beating yourself down. So embrace this persistence and resilience. Those are two things that are really needed to accomplish any goal or really maintain a mindset or a lifestyle. And, those two things, persistence and resilience, kind of really help you navigate adversity and remain committed to the goals. And it doesn't mean that you just have to do it this year. Maybe you just commit to the goal in your life, whatever it is, whatever you're committing to. And it's not the easy path. Maybe it's actually the path that you need so that you feel like you can take daily steps towards what you want. So I'm going to give you some guiding kind of questions that I ask myself, because I do this, halfway through the year check-in, with the people I'm the most grateful for. I stop and pause and we have conversations about this. But I wanted to share some of the questions that I actually go through myself to really kind of slow down and not let the year go by so fast without intention. So the first question is, what setbacks or challenges have I encountered in the pursuit of the goals that I have? But also, how did you respond to those challenges? Did you react or did you respond? Take some time to think about that, but what setbacks and challenges have you encountered throughout the year, and how did you respond to them? The thing is, challenges and adversity and heartbreak and sadness and just struggle and stress, they're inevitable, right? It's part of life. And so I don't want you to ignore it or not have a plan for it, but it's part of any sort of life that has meaning and emotion and purpose and passion and the people we love and things that we want. I don't want less of those things. I just want to be able to respond differently. Okay. So it's not about setting less goals so that you have less heartbreak or living an easier life so you have less of stress. It's about how do we manage the heartbreak and manage the stress better so that we feel more like ourselves, but we also feel everything else that's happening in our lives. Because numbing and ignoring the emotions and feelings that we have, all that does is make us keep those things instead of process and use them for good. So reflect on the setbacks that you've encountered and your responses to them. It can give you some important insights, but identify challenges, and think about like what specific obstacles have you faced on your journey. Now, again, when you talk about how did you respond to it's going to take self-reflection now, post self-reflection, but it's also important. This will give you the skill to be able to do it in the moment. But how did you react to the setbacks? Did you approach them with a problem-solving mindset, or did they stop all of your progress? Did it crush your confidence? And it's okay if it did, right? This is about grace, not holding a grudge against yourself, but offering yourself grace and lifting yourself up instead of beating yourself up. Acknowledge your efforts that you took. Acknowledge what you've done and what you've overcome already this year, and recognize that the response that you had to the growth or the challenge or the adversity or the heartbreak, it was part of your journey. It was part of the growth. And understand your reactions, so that you can then better learn how to intentionally respond to challenges and adversities, and make sure that you get what you need to overcome, to heal, whatever it is, to process. Because what you need during those moments is important. And oftentimes overcoming them helps us identify what we actually need or needed during those moments. So then the next question is really, what lessons have you learned from these experiences, and how can you apply them moving forward? How do we turn wounds into wisdom and pain into purpose? Every challenge presents an opportunity for learning and growth. It's really, really hard in the moment. And I don't even encourage you to think about that in the moment. Just know in your heart that it's an opportunity for learning and growth, but it can also hurt. And the hurt is oftentimes the thing that really shows us how much we cared and, how much we feel, because our feelings are extremely powerful when we're in control of them. And, consider some of the lessons you've learned, important part of your journey. And what have you learned about yourself and your approach to achieving your goals? And, enhancing your problem solving skills starts with having problems and then solving them and then developing skills, which aren't just reactions. It's responses based on intention. So as you give yourself some grace here and you think about all the things you've been able to overcome, you start to build more confidence that, when the next adversity comes, you have a plan. And are there anything, so the third question is really, is there anything, any area of your life where you need support or resources to overcome obstacles or challenges? And, who was there with you and for you when you went through some adversity, and how can you communicate that the way they showed up is meaningful, or was it meaningful for you? Because again, it's about who we surround ourselves with, and we get to choose that every day. And recognize when you need support, right? That's really a sign of strength and not weakness. And identify areas where additional people or resources or thoughts or things or time or whatever it is that you need. Again, this is about your journey, not about what I think, not about what anybody else thinks. And so really evaluate the needs that you have and recognize if there's any skills or knowledge or resources that you could maybe then start to think about having input into your life. And so who in your network, who in your people, who in your circle, who are your people that support you, lean on you, listen to you, make you feel heard, make you feel seen? And, think about those people and how they can show up for you and how they did show up for you, because oftentimes not going through something alone gives us enough confidence to endure and go through things, because we know we don't have to do it alone. So don't hesitate to reach out to help to those people build strong, even stronger relationships with those people when you go through adversity or they go through adversity, and you learn how you're in those raw moments, what you actually need. It's not just what you need in that moment, but it's always what you need as a human, as a person. And so, just understand that's a sign of strength that you relied on other people to help you, but those also are going to be the people that are going to help you, remind you of your strength. And so the next question that I have here is really, it's an important piece about momentum, right? And it's understanding how can I stay motivated and maintain my momentum as I navigate to make the rest of the year the best of the year. Not out of shame, not of regret, but out of opportunity and excitement and fulfillment. And so staying motivated over 12 months is really hard. It's tough, right? It takes consistent effort and proactive mindset. And, here's some things that I've done, that I do often. Some of these, honestly, these quarterly check-ins are also part of the thing that I do to keep me motivated, knowing that in 30 days, I'm going to talk to somebody that I love and I'm the most grateful for, that I lean on in my support. I'm going to talk to them about my goals, and I don't want to say I didn't do anything. So sometimes that motivation alone to prove them right, because they do believe in me, is enough of a way to keep yourself motivated. But as you work over the next, again, break it down by month, by day, by quarter, by year, whatever's helpful for you, not what somebody else thinks you should do, but whatever you think you should do. But here's some ways that I've done. Here's some things that I've done to help you maintain some momentum. So I set milestones. So I break my goals down into my larger goals into smaller goals, so that I can feel momentum. I can feel progress. I haven't accomplished it yet, but I believe that if the work and discipline that I'm doing on a daily basis, the habits I'm building and creating and sticking to will lead me to where I want to be. But I'm also having to become a new person who's sticking to new habits, because we rarely go to a new place with the same mindset or the new place with the same habits. And so, celebrate your milestones that you accomplish, and give yourself that pat on the back, or, give yourself some positive affirmation that you've been able to maintain your progress. And, the sense of accomplishment and progress actually fuels more needs and desires to feel accomplishment and progress. So it kind of fills itself and fuels you as you set those milestones. They start to feel more like opportunities to accomplish something instead of pressure and burdens. So the second thing that I do, this is something I spent a lot of time on. It kind of folds into this manifestation part of my habits now, but it's really about visualizing success. Regularly visualize your success, your outcomes, whatever you want, whatever life you want to be living. This practice of visualization and manifestation can really cultivate sustained momentum and motivation. And so once you understand that what you want, the life you want, the relationship you want, the career you want, the finances you want, whatever it is, once you understand that it's possible, and by understand, I mean not just think that it's possible, but believe that it's possible. That starts with a visualization, because once you can see it, then you can make it happen. The third thing is something that I've talked about a lot here, and it's something that is truthfully the thing that wakes me up full of energy every morning and makes it hard for me to go to bed at night sometimes, but it's affirm your why. Remember and remind yourself why you do what you do, why the goals, why the habits, why does it matter? Connecting to a deeper purpose can completely reinvigorate and reignite the passion and the drive. So once we get past the feelings, I'm going to do a different episode on this because I really want to pour into this, but how do we move beyond our feelings? Because as we think, we feel, we choose. We get ourselves, we get into a habit of being really hard on ourselves for the choices we're making, but and again, not everybody, but it's important to think about the feelings that you had that made you make that choice. But those feelings that you had started with a thought. So if you think about your why, and then you feel grateful and loving and excited, and you feel like you want to make a difference in the lives of the people you're the most grateful for by accomplishing whatever goal it is, that then makes you make different choices. So instead of beating yourself up over the choice, love yourself enough to think about the feelings and the thoughts you had that led you to that choice. See it as an opportunity not out of regret and shame. Then the fourth one, again, setting milestones, visualize success, affirm your why. And the fourth one is practicing self-compassion. You have to be on your own team. If you're your own self-critic, okay. If you're your own coach, okay. But you have to have self-compassion. This is something I've had to learn in my own life. I was always the hardest critic on myself, and no matter what I accomplished, it was never enough. I was so outcome driven that I didn't even really celebrate anything. And I've talked to you about this before, but publishing a book and whatever, it doesn't really matter. Or, then I start criticizing the book, or every post that I put, I start criticizing. It's like, there's got to be this point to where like the world is going to reflect to you oftentimes what you project. And so it's a matter of understanding like humility and authenticity comes to us whenever we just practice some self-compassion and humility, and be kind to yourself during setbacks. Don't beat yourself up. Don't think you deserved it. Just be kind to yourself. Speak your needs. Acknowledge the efforts and acknowledge what you just overcame and the progress, and avoid self-criticism. Holding yourself accountable is not self-criticism. Holding yourself accountable is actually out of self-love, because you want better for yourself. So as I wrap up here, just a few final things. So reflect on the first half of the year. Take pride in your resilience and the persistence and the tough things you've been able to overcome. Acknowledging the challenges that you faced and the strength you've shown will help you overcome the next challenge. The check-ins aren't just about assessing progress. It's about reaffirming your commitment to your goals and your capacity to navigate the obstacles that are going to come your way. And maybe if you are looking at the goals that you have, is it something, do you have goals now that something's changed in your life that is going to make it very hard for you to accomplish? Because holding that over yourself, holding that over your head and having that be a stressor all year is not really the point. It's about setting a goal that is going to make you work hard, that is going to have to push you and challenge you, but it's actually something you can do. And maybe, Indigo, again, like I said earlier, I'm not suggesting you lower your goals. I'm just suggesting you change your habits. And again, this quote that we've talked often about, it's from James Clear, Atomic Habits. But he talks about, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. So don't think just because you have the goal that it's going to happen. Think about how can you invest more time in the systems and habits and processes, and then you get to appreciate who you are and what you are, what you're becoming. And so remember, the journey, towards the goals that you have is really more of it's a longer journey. It's not just for the next 21 days or the next 3 months or whatever it is. Just settle in the daily progress or the grace that you need to show yourself. Each step, no matter how small, I don't even really love calling them small. I just say each step brings you closer to your destination, to the goal that you want, to the life you want to be living. So embrace those lessons learned, seek the support from the people you love and the people that are grateful for you and that you're the most grateful for, and maintain a positive and determined, optimistic mindset. Your persistence and resilience that you're going to recognize about yourself are the keys to unlocking the potential and achieving whatever you want, whatever kind of life you really want to be living. You aren't stuck. You can always make new choices. So keep these reflections close to your heart. It's important to ask these questions when it's the right time for you. Again, not out of shame and obligation and burden, but use them as a source of inspiration and motivation to kind of stay on course and no matter what challenges arise, because challenges are going to come up, but we have a choice whether or not we're prepared for them. And some of them we're never going to be prepared for. And those are the moments of growth that we lean on the people that we love, lean on the people we're grateful for, and pay attention to what you need. Pay attention to your body, pay attention to your mind, pay attention to yourself, because what you need matters. And the effort that you need from people around you matters. So don't ever short yourself, don't ever settle. And, the life that you want to be living is within reach, and with determination and, this idea of focus on purpose, on why, and different things that I've talked about in this episode, the second half of the year really can be the best of the year. So make the rest of the year the best of the year. I appreciate you all listening. I appreciate the feedback. I'm hopeful that you take a moment to reflect on the first half of the year, but you give yourself more grace than hold more grudges against yourself. Give yourself some credit for the things you've overcome. Recognize that you are a beautiful work in progress, and know that you're being shaped, not broken. Even though it may feel like it, you are strong, you are capable, and you are significant. I appreciate you listening to this episode. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Please leave me a comment. You can visit my website at tjsweet.net if you have more questions, or if you want me to dive into your goals with you, I'd be happy to do that as well. But I will wrap up this episode like I do every other episode and remind you that you always have the power and the choice to reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until the next episode, never stop.